Alright, time to show you. We're getting into some stuff in the kitchen today. But I'm also paying really hard for the fact that I had some kitchen days and then decided to have a fun friend day instead. So, cleaning up all of the projects I had going in the fridge, in the freezer. I use these like cafeteria lady colorful trays. It makes a huge help prepping and stuff. But there's a lot of dishes, so I'm gonna start working on that. All right, we're starting the day out at 3:40-ish. We have one of my bigger batches of bone broth. I'm reducing it down a ton to make like the better than bouillon like concentrate. Maybe I won't go that far, but it'll just take up less space, and I can freeze them in little silicone cubes. And then I have some milk heating up, and I'm going to turn that into homemade ricotta because I also want to make homemade lasagna noodles. Because I made homemade pasta sauce and I have enough to make a lasagna left. So I'm making the ricotta, boiling that down. This is all I'm working on right now. Because, you know, it's just a lot of steps. But I have so many plans. But those are the two things I'm working on at the moment. Alright, I have my ricotta station set up a timer going. I have a few more minutes before I strain that. And I just dump it into here and then let it drip dry for a little bit. And let's go show you the progress on my broth. All right, we're about halfway done there. I also have some hard-boiled eggs going, or soft-boiled eggs, but look at one of them cracked, and now it's like oozing out, so we'll see. But it'll be fine. I've been hooked on the soy marinated eggs lately, so just gonna get a couple of those. So foggy. Alright. I keep on working. Let me show you some of the dishes I did. Alright, I got all of these done and they're stacked, piled, leveled up. I could do more, but I had to get my next thing going over there. So, we're making progress everywhere. And that's not dirty. It's just a million years old and stained up and just looks terrible. But it is what it is. It's clean though. And so were all of those. Yay! Alright, the eggs are done boiling. They're in their ice bath for a few minutes. Pulled my tray out of the freezer. We made 3 a.m. donuts. First time we made yeast donuts. They were delicious. I didn't read the recipe, or the recipe didn't say how many it made. So I ended up with 3 trays full of donuts and donut holes. So we made some, we ate some. There's some left over. And I'm going to get all of these packaged up. I don't know, might do half and half, or I might do all donut holes, all donuts. We'll see how they all fit. And then I'm going to get them vacuum sealed. So all we will have to do when we want donuts next is get these out of the freezer and let them thaw and proof for a little bit, and then put them in the deep fryer. So that'll be a nice little treat to have whenever we're ready, or 2 times actually. Alright, here they are. These will go nice into the deep freezer. They don't take up much space. They'll go in my pre-made treats drawer in my stand-up freezer. You specifically. Alright, me and Pete, we're trying to make it daily walks. We're not perfect, but we're doing it. We're out here, we're walking. Teddy is out here obviously living the dream, you know. So, we're taking a break from the kitchen. We're getting some work done. This super awesome helper took out all of the garbage and the recycling that has been building up. Oh, and look at, this is the new hat I made for when Jake and I did the sublimation. It says, "The hell I won't." It's amazing. All right, I'll put my phone away so I can enjoy my walk with Pete. All right, we are picking up at homemade pasta. I have my Pasta Express machine all put together. The pasta, or the lasagna sheet grate in it. So I like to make it with all semolina flour. It's just better that way. So there's that, and salt. We're gonna get that mixed up, but it's too loud to have it running and actually talk. You won't hear me. So in here I have 2 eggs, and then it comes with like this measuring cup, but it's 2 eggs and then water, a certain amount, I don't remember, but I ended up instead of water, I always do homemade bone broth, so mine is really seasoned and really nutritious. and like concentrated bone broth. So it also adds so much flavor. So what we do is we just turn this machine on. It mixes it all for us. And then when the dough looks right and mixed, like all combined really well, then you flip the switch and it starts coming out for you. It's really cool. I'll try to get a clip, but then I'll just have to turn the volume off for it. But it's a pretty cool machine. All right. Dry. It's moist, but it's hard to really show you too well. But it's perfect texture now. Like that squand or whatever, that weird moon sand when I was a kid. All right, so now that's all set. We're just going to go ahead and put it on the extrude motion. What's it called? The flip. And then we'll show you how it goes. So my amazing husband made me a pasta drying rack. So as they were coming off, I used the tray and I kind of run them, transport them over here. They're just here. They're not going to be like dried to use. I'm going to actually use them fresh, but it just helps keep them out of the way and organized. I'm going to show you what else I got going at the same exact time. All right, over here, the bone broth that I reduced a ton. I'm putting it into this like egg bite mold because it has a lid and I even labeled it. So this is going to go into the freezer. I pulled out of the freezer homemade sausage crumbles that I made and some pepperoni. But that's actually, I put it in the microwave to thaw for a little bit just so I can break it apart. But we're going to go ahead and get the lid on this, get this in the freezer and get it out of the way. So then we can make room for the pasta sauce and like the lasagna station to, make it all. All right, I have an 8x8 pan in the oven now so we can eat fresh. And then I took my super cubes and made, 8 portions. I'm going to go ahead and freeze these and then we can always put them in the pan and bake them up whenever we want them. Because, sometimes one person may want the lasagna instead of all of us. So this is just a super convenient way. I am going to label these because as soon as you put it in the freezer and you think you're going to remember, you don't. So go ahead and label that before you even put it away. I pulled some little dinner rolls out of the freezer. Geez, I can't speak. Some dinner rolls out of the freezer. Tossed them in butter, garlic, and Gino's seasoning. And here is the lasagna with the homemade noodles, homemade pasta sauce, freshly shredded cheese, and homemade ricotta. I'm going to let it set up for a little bit and then call the troops down to dive in.